How are you? Alhamdulillah, all good. On and I'm back now. Right, I guess we can start. Your voice is a bit low. I am speaking loud. I just reply in the chat softly. Question now only I'm going to start. Mic is correct, right? Yeah. Okay, let's start now. Last week we discussed certain questions. Actually, we are done with the compulsory questions discussion because this until this fourth page only we had the compulsory questions. From there onwards, the questions are the selection type questions. So out of selection type questions, I think we discussed some as well. Yeah, some questions we have discussed. There were 19 papers apart we have discussed. You are not recording. It is actually recording. It's recording means streaming on YouTube. So recording happens there. Okay, let's begin. So let's start off with this question. Hey, it's an easy question. Nothing is ever doing this. Okay, it's easy question. Those who have the tute, it's on page number 5. Those who don't have the tute, you can refer the question here and start doing it on a separate book. I hope you all have a separate book for paper class. So if there's anyone who is new, just keep in mind for the paper class, maintain a separate writing book. I'll be screen sharing the questions. You can refer that to copy it there. If you have the tute, you can copy it on the tute itself. But for those who don't have the tute, did you put the SDLC notes? Ah, shoot, I forgot. I'll do it today, inshallah. How do we get the tute? If you're attending my theory classes physically, then in the physical class itself, I will be giving this tute. If you're attending my theory class online, then along with online tute, we'll be getting this tute additionally. If you're not attending my classes, then at the moment there is no way you can get the printed tute. You can get the PDF. But if you can get the printed tute, I'll tell about that later. I'm just sorting out the current ticks. After I give the current ticks, there's balance. I'll let you know. Still, certain tutes are getting dispatched. Can't we write the answers on the tube? You can, you can. If you have it, you can. By the way, I'm giving you all 5 minutes for this. Quickly do it. Let me on the timer. Mm, some are done already. If you're done with the question, raise your hands up. Huh? Okay, Amar. My tube smells still it smells like perfume, but it's worth the efforts. So, even that day in the class. We have already done this. Oh, well, did I discuss it? Okay, interesting. I would have done only for all day. Then just ignore this question for now. I mean, well, lot of people. But if you have not done, do it now. On the first day. In the inside the in the physical class now? Yeah, that's fine. Others will have 4 minutes remaining. Quickly do it. Yes, Ryan, that's purposely done. It's all a process. Those who are done with this question, raise your hands up in Zoom. Those are done with answering this question. Raise your hands up in Zoom. And I'll be telling about that in discussing. Well, a couple of seconds remaining. Okay, your time is up. Okay, let's check your answer. Very, very easy. Exactly. So these are question asking you all to that they have given here a program that reads two numbers and displays a large number. Keep in mind, when they say the word called read, what they're meaning here is about input. So the purpose of this program is it's going to ask the user to input two numbers, and after the user input two numbers, it's going to display, which means it's going to output the larger number out of them. Now, when you're making programs, I mean, we're drawing flowcharts. Okay, when you're drawing flowcharts, what's the main difference between pseudocode and flowchart is in flowchart we use certain shapes for different purposes, right? So one thing you have to be familiar with, shapes has to be used for what purpose, right? Now, for example, to take this program, there are instructions like this called start and stop, or else begin and end. Okay. So for start and stop, or else begin and end, what is the shape you have to use? If you have instructions like start, stop, begin, end, all those stuffs, what is the shape we have to use? What do you call that shape as? Okay. Yeah. You have to use this shape. Some of you all call these as oval. Okay, my shape is not pixel perfect, but this is the shape you have to use. But you call some of you call it oval, but this is not actually oval. The correct name of this shape is something called as ellipse. Okay, so if you notice, it is like a rounded rectangle, like up and down is parallel. The corners are a bit curved. Okay, that's how you actually draw this shape. Again, calling this oval and ellipse is not going to lose you marks, but the correct name of this shape is called ellipse. Just letting you all know. Then, when you have instructions like input, and if there's an instructions used to depict an input, or if there's an instruction used to depict an output, what is the shape we use for this? If there's an instructions talking about we have to give a value for the user or get a value from the user, either input output scenarios, what is the shape we use? Perfect. For input and output scenarios, we use this shape or else you can use this shape. Make sure you're drawing it, you draw it neatly. Okay, we call this shape as the parallelogram. Okay, so you all know in maths how what are the properties of parallelogram and how you should draw it perfectly. So you're drawing it, make sure you use rulers and pencils and draw it neatly. Okay, then if you're going to talk about a process, like let's say what do you call instruction talking about an equation, a calculation kind of a process, what is the shape we use to depict a process? Correct. To depict a process, we use the rectangle shape. So within the rectangle only, we have to mention the process. Again, my shapes are not perfect, but when all are drawing, make sure you draw it properly. Yeah? If there's an instruction talking about, let's say, a condition, like let's say a question asking, okay, is this greater than this? Is this less than this killer? Those kind of questions or a decision that has to be made. What is the shape we use to mention those decisions, questions, conditions? Correct. It is this shape. We call this shape as a rhombus. Huh? Don't call this as kite or what you call diamond or whatever. The correct name of this shape is rhombus. And then how do you show the flow of instruction? Now, there is one more shape which is not used more only. I'll come to that later. But what do we use to show the instructions flow? Like after this, go for this instruction. After this, go for this instruction. Killer. To show the flow, what is being used? Perfect. To show the flow, we use arrowheads like this. Okay, you can call them as arrowheads. Now, there are situations, drawing the flow chart. Normally, we'll be drawing this flow chart, let's say on a paper. Now, when I'm drawing the flow chart, let's say on a paper, this is the end of the page. So let's say I have an instruction I have written here. Now, I don't have space. I have to write the next instruction, next page. So if I go like this, if I want to, let's say, what you call it, jump pages like this, I don't have space in the first page. I'm going to go for the second page. What is the shape I can use in this place and this place? What is the shape I can use to show that, okay, I don't have space, so the remaining is going to be continuing from here, Kila. What is the shape I can use there? Correct. In such situations, when you don't have space, what we normally do is, let's say you're in the drawing the flow chart, we don't have space, okay? We connect this instruction to a circle. And the continuation, we'll again draw the circle in the next page and we show the continuation like this, okay? So within this circle, we might mention a label to say that, okay, after this, go here, Kila. We call this circle as the shape is called a connector. And we call this as a connector. So the shape used for connector is actually a circle. Okay, exactly. So again, it's very rare situations that you might use this. But again, keep in mind that is also available when it comes to flowchart and we call it as a connector. Fine. Now, based on these shapes, let's draw the flowchart. Okay. Now, the first starting instruction, a start instruction. So just like we discussed a while ago, for start instruction, we are supposed to use a ellipse. So I'm going to write the instruction and around my instruction, I'm going to draw the shape. My shape is not perfect, okay, but we're not drawing. Make sure you use a pencil and rulers and draw it properly. Yeah. Alish will be getting it soon. Alish, just draw. Alish, need to get the normal tutes, other theory class tutes. Just drop me WhatsApp message. I'll let you know. The next instruction is talking about get A and B. Keep in mind the word get is giving you the idea of input. Okay. So instead of using the word called input, we can use get, enter, what do you call read, anything is fine. So because that's an input instruction, I'm going to mention that inside a parallelogram. Like this. Next, we have if A is greater than B. Okay. Now, if A is greater than B, you can see this is actually a condition. After drop a WhatsApp message to After Alicia, drop the WhatsApp message to this number, okay? Wait, not that number. This number. Okay. The next instruction is A greater than B. That's a condition. So if it's a condition, we draw that inside the rhombus like this. Is A greater than B? It's a question. And when you take a question, there are two possible results. Either the condition can be true, which we mentioned in the yes direction, or the condition can be false, which you mentioned in no direction. Now look at this pseudocode and tell me if A is greater than B. I mean, we are checking this condition is A greater than B. No. If this condition gives you true, what should you display? Should you display A or should you display B? If that condition is giving you true, if the condition is saying yes, when you go and check is A greater than B, if the answer is yes, what should get displayed, A or B? Perfect. If you look at the flowchart, you can see in a selection structure, between then and else we mention what to do if the condition is true. Between else and end if we mention what to do if the condition is false. This is the condition we have. So because when the condition is true at a display A, I write that here in front of yes direction, display A. And then if it's no, I'm going to display B. So I mentioned that display B here. Now, after you display A, what is the next thing that has to happen? A given program, once you're done displaying A, what is the next thing that has to happen? Yes, you can, Hanuman. I mean, Hanamanos. Exactly. After display, you're in the program. After display B, what should happen? No, Omar. See, in the selection structure, what is top is true, what is bottom is false. Say there is a WhatsApp, what do you call community. To join that, you'll get the link for all the steps there. Drop a WhatsApp message to this number, and I will tell you how to complete it. Exactly. After you'll be displaying B also in the program. Now, in this situation, you can see after A also you're going to end the program. After B also you're going to end the program. So we don't draw this as two different shapes. What we do is we connect both of them to one common instruction like this. So this is how your flow chart is going to look like. How many of you all got this correct? Raise your hands up. Others, those who have any questions, drop in a chat. Those who have any mistakes, do your corrections. Again, my shapes are not proper because I just did in the computer. But when all are drawing, make sure to draw using pencil and ruler the shapes precisely. Yeah? I put the end under B. Is it fine? Yeah, you can put it under B, not a problem. If the answer is either no or yes, still it will be an end because of the question. Yes, correct. Because the question says if A is greater than B, then display A, else display B, and end if. So this whole thing is a selection structure. This whole thing you have is a selection structure. So you're going to check is A greater than B. If it's greater, you're going to display A, or else you're going to display B. Once you're done with the selection structure, once you're checking the condition, following the instruction, you can see the final instruction stop. The idea of stop is basically end. Instead of mentioning end, you can mention stop as well. That's fine. I put a connector and end. Why do you need a connector? Unwanted. I said connector is used in which situation, right? So, in the end of the page, that's where you put the connector. If the question be like after A or B, then what can we do without putting an end? If the question be like after A or B, then what can we do without putting it? If the question has mentioned some instruction, then you would mention that specific instruction. Now, here, after displaying A and B, the next thing is ending the program. But if they had mentioned something, then you have to go for that instruction. Alicia, didn't you get like a what do you call how many tiers did we get also? Do we have to use a ruler to draw them? Except begin and end, other all the sheep can use ruler. Yes, I asked. It's correct. If they mention something, then how can we continue? Whatever is mentioned has to be shown. Okay, if you got this correct, put for each shape, put one mark. One, two, three. And in front of yes, if you have display A, four. In front of no, if you have display B, five. So one, two, three, four, five. And if you have both of them coming to end, six. Put one mark each. Huh? So you get 6 marks here total. I think I replied all the questions. If I missed anything, just let me know in the chat. Huh? At least out of those three, see, one is like a this one, right? Without a car page one. The tute without the car page, that is a paper class two. Okay. Yes, paper class tute is a program booklet. That's what paper class tute is. A programming booklet. Is swapping yes and no sides a problem? Yeah. I mean, if you put yes and no in front of yes, you have display A. Whether you put it down or up or left or right, that doesn't matter. You can even write it in this direction, this direction. That is not an issue. The point is after the condition, in front of yes only display has to be. See how I circled it. When I circle this, I will not just circle only display. I told in front of yes, there has to be display A. In front of no, there has to be display B. Okay, perfect. Awesome. Wasn't clear? Okay, I'll give you all 5 minutes. Do this question. There is nothing to draw. Okay, you just have to figure out what is A, what is B, what is C, and what is D. I'll give you 5 minutes. Do this question. The timer is on. Once you're done with this question, raise your hands up in Zoom. Huh? Hey, by the way, if you all have any inquiries regarding any questions you all want to ask, drop a message to this number. Don't WhatsApp the other number. I might not reply in that number much. But if you message this number, one of our staffs or someone would reply. You can the master ID hotline number. So if there's any inquiries, just drop a WhatsApp message. But any other number. Okay, once you're done, raise your hands up. If you have any questions, drop in the chat. 2 months, it's the same year, 2016. 2016 is Roman number two. After A, is that count Ah, okay, it's a correction here. There's a mistake in this question. It should be count equals count plus one. Now, do this correction, all of you. This has to be count equals count plus one. They have swapped the equal symbol and plus symbol. So do that correction. Try. It's easy. Those who are done with the question, you can raise your hands up in Zoom. Yeah, Hannah. You'll have a minute remaining. If there's enough you're still doing, and if there's enough who are done, raise your hands up. I'm just checking the count. Only 5 of you have done. What's the meaning of count? It's actually a variable here in this program. Use it, Timar. Okay, time up. First of all, tell me, how was this question for you? Was it easy or was it hard or yeah, how was the question? Because only few of you will raise your hands up and majority of you will crying in the chat. Okay, interesting. Let's see. Okay, let's go to the question first. Little complicated. Okay. Suppose a school has conducted an examination of a particular subject for 100 students. Okay, they're saying there are 100 students, it seems. And recorded the marks scored. So they're going to record here the marks of 100 students. Fine. The given flowchart with blank spaces indicated by the labels A to D is designed to read these marks. Read means to get the marks from the user and display the highest. Easy. Identify and write down ABCD. Fine. Always when you get a program, first of all, make sure you understand what is the purpose of the program. Because without knowing the purpose, why a program is made, it will be difficult for you to complete the program. So if you read this question properly, you can see the purpose of this flowchart is to get 100 students marks. First thing. And after you get 100 students marks, okay, you're supposed to find the highest marks out of them. So get 100 students marks. And once you're done getting 100 students marks, next part you're going to do is you're going to display the highest. Right. So if you look at this program, you can see here, there is an instruction mentioning here called input X. Fine. Now in this program, when you read the question, when we understand the purpose, we understood that we have to get something from the user, right? What should we get from the user? The users, the students, but the person who's going to get use the program, we're going to get something from him, right? We're going to get his what? Exactly. We're going to get his marks. Apart from marks, has the question mentioned any other inputs we are to get from the user? Apart from getting the marks from the user, has a question told, we need anything else from the user? No. Exactly. Okay. So when you see an instruction that is called input X, what do you think this variable called X is going to hold? Because it's an input instruction and there's only one input the question is talking about. That means this variable X is used to store what? Exactly. The variable X is used to store a specific student's mark. It's used to store the marks. Is that part clear, all of you? Understood the purpose of X? How I figure out X is used to store marks? Because that's the only input the question is talking about. Okay. Now I go for the next instruction. The next instruction is talking about a variable called max. And they are saying the value of this max variable is going to be equal to the value of the user input. Okay. From the name itself, are you able to figure out what do you think the purpose of this variable is? The name itself gives you an idea, right? What is the purpose of this variable? Okay. So the variable is used to store which marks? By looking at the name itself, tell me what do you think this variable max is used to store? The name itself gives you an idea, right? Exactly. The max variable might be used to store the highest marks because at the end of the day, we have to display the user what is the highest marks. Out of the 100 marks, we have to display the user what is the highest marks. So we have to get these marks from one by one student. Okay, you have to get this student one by one. No? The 100 students' marks, we have to get one by one. So in this instruction, we have got only the first student's marks, right? So now you can see the next instruction is talking about a variable called count. I'll come to the purpose of count in a while. Okay, wait. Now, we have already got the first student's marks from here, right? If you look at the flow chart here, there is a specific repetition structure here. If you're wondering, how did I know that there is a repetition structure? I taught you all this when I was in the class as well. I don't remember doing it in the paper class, but I'll tell you all. When you look at a flow chart, there is a way you can figure out, is it using a selection structure or repetition structure? Now, there is something that is common for selection structure and repetition structure. What is common for both selection structure and repetition structure flowchart? In selection structure flowchart and repetition structure flowchart, there's something you might notice common in both. You can see in this also you can see, that also you can see. What is that? Exactly. The thing that is common in both of them is a rhombus. Okay. You will notice rhombus is used in a selection structure as well. You will notice rhombus is used in the repetition structure as well. So at a glance, when you look at the rhombus itself, by just looking at the rhombus, you can't decide is it a selection structure or repetition structure. You can figure out whether it's a selection structure or repetition structure by going through the program. There is an easy way to figure out that. Now, always when you take a rhombus, you will notice there are two paths. One path is show the S direction, other path is used to define the no direction. Okay. Imagine there are two people. Okay, imagine there are two people. One fellow is going to go only in the yes path. One fellow is going to go only in the no path. They will not switch path. Huh? If all the time he'll be going only in the yes, all the time he'll be going only in the no. Right? Now, look at this structure I'm going to draw here. Look at this structure I drew in the right hand side. It's a dummy structure and tell me. Let's say one this side is yes and this side is no. And there are two people. One fellow is going to travel in this yes direction. One fellow is going to travel in this no direction. If both of them travel like that in the two different directions, are there any place they could meet commonly? One fellow is going in the yes direction. He will go only in the yes direction. He will never come for the no side. Another fellow is going in the no direction. So if both of them walk in their own path, are there anywhere they will meet? Yes. In which letter are they going to meet? A, B, C, D, or E? Perfect. You can see the yes fellow also can come here. The no fellow also can come here. If they go in their respective path, both of them can meet at E. Now, similarly, look at this structure. I'm going to redraw another structure. Now, when you look at this structure, again, let's say what do you call, I'm going to call this A, B, C, and D, and E. There is one fellow who's going to go through this, what do you call, S direction. And there's another fellow who is going to go in the no direction. If this fellow is going to go only in S direction again and again and again, and that bug is going to go only in the no direction, in the second flow chart, like second dummy flow chart I draw, are there any place both of them can meet? If you look at this one, tell me, are there any place they can meet? I'm not saying meeting at the beginning. Huh? I'm saying they have already gone in the S direction. One fellow has gone in the no direction. If both of them have now gone in both the direction, can they meet? Huh? Not at the start point. Obviously, the start point, here also they'll meet them in. Here also they'll meet the start point. I'm not talking about the start point. After they met in that start point, they're going to go in two different directions. After they go in their respective direction, will they meet? No. After they go in their respective direction, they will not meet. Okay. Keep in mind, when you go in the two directions, if you can meet each other, then it's a selection structure. It's a selection structure. If you go in the both the direction, if you can't meet, it's a repetition structure. Is that clear, all of you? Tell me, are you all clear how to figure out the difference between selection structure and repetition structure? In selection structure, if you're going in the S direction, no direction, there will be some place or the other where you all can meet. In repetition structure, if you are both going in two different directions, you will never meet at any instructions. Now, using that idea, tell me, looking at this program, in this program, are they using a repetition structure or selection structure? What structure is used in this program, in this flowchart given? In this, look at this from this shape and tell me this rhombus. The rhombus I circled in dark blue. Perfect. That rhombus is talking about a repetition structure. Look at this rhombus and tell me, what about this rhombus? Is this rhombus talking about repetition or selection? Second rhombus. The rhombus I'm circling in red color. Yes, that is actually a selection structure because if you go in yes and no, you can see at one point they can meet. At one point they can meet each other. Fine. Now let's start doing this question. So technically, these instructions you can see here from this flowchart is going. That is these instructions. Wait. These instructions you can see here, they are going to repeat. Okay, you can see here, they are going to repeat. Now let's figure out what are the instructions that's going to repeat. First thing you can see, there is a condition being checked here. Let's come to that condition a while. For now, I'm going to ignore that condition. Keeping that condition away, if you look at what is happening inside, there is a variable called count equals count plus 1. I mean, there is a process called count equals count plus 1. Now, what's happening in that instruction, we're going to increase the value of count, right? If the initial value of count they mentioned was 1 here, after you follow this instruction, what will be the value of count? Initially, count was 1. Now, if we say count is going to be equal to count plus 1, then what is the new value going to be? All this time, when you say count equals count plus 1, currently the value of count was, you can see it was mentioned here as 1. So it's going to be 1 plus 1, which means the new value of count is going to be 2, right? So when you come for the instruction, count will be 2. Then you can see there is a parallelogram here. Look, imagine a flowchart and tell me in flowchart, parallelograms can be used only for two things. What are the two things that you can use parallelogram for? Perfect. You could use a parallelogram for input or else output. Now you can see there is a parallelogram inside the repetition. And if you look at this parallelogram we have here, is this parallelogram coming inside the repetition, within the repetition? The second parallelogram labeled with D, is that parallelogram coming within the repetition? No. Now, when you read the question, you know, as per this question, in terms of input, we have to get 100 marks. In terms of output, we have to display the highest marks. Right? So definitely, if it's going to be one of these parallelogram is going to be input, one of these parallelogram is going to be input or output, you can figure out is it the highest marks, or is it talking about the highest marks, or is it talking about the mark? You can decide about that depending on whether it's in the repetition or not. Let me tell you how. Now, let's say if you consider this has to be display the highest marks. Is display the highest marks something that has to be repeatedly displayed? When you say display highest marks, should you display more than one value? Repetition means it's going to happen more than one time, no? So when you say display highest marks, should it display more than one time? No. When you say highest marks, only one mark is there. There's just only one final mark. So based on that, tell me the displaying highest marks, is it suitable to put inside B or is it suitable to put inside D? Where is it more suitable to show the displaying the highest marks? Because parallelogram is only used for input or output. Huh? So you have output to display highest marks. Now you're confused. Should I put that for B or D? I'm not telling you how you can decide that. Perfect. You can put that in D because the D instruction is going to follow only one time. But B, it's going to follow more than one time. Why? It's within the repetition structure. So repetition structure means it's going to repeat more than one time. Okay. But displaying highest marks, there's only one highest marks. Out of 100 marks, there's only one highest marks. So what's going to happen is out of B and D, you can tell that D is more suitable to show the display highest marks. Is that clear, all of you? And in this question, we earlier saw that highest marks is stored in the max variable. So I'm going to say display max here. Got it? Understood how I found D? Okay. Now we have done with the output. Now in terms of input 100 marks, I told you in the first instruction we got the first mark. You can see the first student's marks we got here. So in that case, tell me within the flowchart. But practically more than one student can store highest marks, right? Again, are we displaying the name of the student here? No. So we are going to display a value, right? Can there be more than one value for highest marks? Sorry, wrong. No. So there's only one highest marks, right? In terms of value, there's only one highest marks, right? Got it? Perfect. Okay. So now I have what you call display the highest marks. Fine. Now you can see the first student's marks I have obtained here. So within the flow chart, I had to repeatedly get remaining how many students' marks? And within this repetition structure, okay, now you can see within the repetition structure, also I had to get the marks. I had to get how many students' marks? I have already got one mark here. The first student's marks I've already got here. So within the repetition, I have to get 99 marks. Okay. So what's going to happen is the instruction called B is there. Right? I'm going to say this instruction called B is going to mean input X. Okay. I'm going to call this instruction input X. Input X means input marks. So the first student's marks I got from the top here, the remaining 99 students' marks, I'm going to get one by one. One by one, I'm going to get. Okay. I'm going to get one by one. Each student's marks I'm going to get from this. Right. Now, I want this instruction to repeat how many times? This green color highlighted instruction. This should repeat how many times? The getting marks. Is it 99 or is it 100? Again, ask yourself, how many times should I repeat the green color? My question is not, I'm not asking you how many times we are to get the marks from the user. What I'm asking is this green color instruction, the getting the marks from this green color instruction. From that, how many times I have to get? Exactly. I have to get from there 99 times. Why 99 times is because I have already got the first student's marks from here, from the top, which I had in pink color. Okay. From this top instruction called input X, I have already got the first student's marks. So what do you call from the repetition structure? I should get only 99 more marks because in this whole class, there's a total of 100 students. So if the first student's marks I got from here, from this green color, I should get only 99 students' marks. Is that part clear, all of you? Is that part clear? Got it? By 99 there. Perfect. Now, tell me, in a repetition structure, who has the power? Which instruction controls the number of repetitions? You decide whether you should repeat or not. Who has the power to control that? Who has the power to control should you repeat or not? Which instruction? Depending on what? Some of you all gave me correct answers. Yes. In a repetition structure, you decide should you repeat or not. Okay, you decide should you repeat or not, depending on the condition. So if you ask me, if you get a question asking who has the power to control the repetition, the power to control the repetition is there by the condition. The condition only has the power to control how many times these instructions has to be repeated. Is that clear, all of you? Got it? Okay. So now you have to figure out how we can write the condition here in such that we can get through this repetition structure. Okay, we have to figure out a condition we can write there in such that these instructions we mentioned inside are going to be repeated 99 times. Okay, these instructions mentioned inside are going to get repeated 99 times. If you notice, when we are doing the program, we found out the purpose of x variable, we found out the purpose of max variable. You can see there is a one more variable called count, still which we did not find the purpose for. And when we were learning repetition structure, I taught you all that when you're doing a repetition structure, when you have while loop or repeat and loop or any most of the loops, okay, repeat and loop not compulsory, but majority of the repetition structure, not all, but majority of the repetition structure, there is something you have to, I mean, if you want to, let's say, if you know the if you know the exact count, if you know exactly this much number of times we have to repeat, there has to be a variable to count the number of repetitions. Like I told you, when you're running a race, let's say you're running a marathon or let's say any sort of a race, okay, running a race around the grounds, let's say you go around the grounds 4 times. When you're running around the grounds, you will have in your mind which round you're in. You will know, okay, am I in the first round still running, or am I in the second lap? We call this laps actually, okay? Are you in the first lap or second lap or third lap or fourth lap? You'll be keeping in your mind, right? If you don't know currently you're in which round running, you will not know exactly, okay, now I had to stop killer. You will not know that, right? So if you notice in this program, there's a variable called count, right? This count variable is used to what you call question yourself. Should I continue this? Should I continue what you call following the instruction? Should I continue? You're going to decide that based on count, because you can see before I start going the first round, before I start the first repetition, you can see the value of count is 1. And within the repetition, you can see by increasing the value of count by 1. So initially, if count was 1, when it passes through the repetition structure, it's going to add 1 more and become 2. The next time it's going to go around the repetition structure, it's going to add 1 more and become 3. Yes, count is a variable. Okay. The next time the next time the repetition structure, what you call execute, it's going to add 1 more. Count equals count plus 1, it's going to add 1 more, it will become 4. So likewise, the values of count is going to increase of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Now, based on that, tell me, you know that count has to, this instruction inside has to repeat 99 times now. So when count is 1, we have to repeat. When count is 2, we have to repeat. When count is 3, we have to repeat. When count is 4, when count is 5, we have to repeat. Right? Depending on that, tell me, when count is 98, should you repeat? Yes, when count is 98. Okay. Because that is only telling, okay, now we are going to go and get the 98th number. When count is 99, should we repeat? Yes, because you can see when count is equal to 1, okay, before we check the instruction, when count is equal to 1, then only you're going to go and get the first value from the user. Second value from the user. Okay, before the instruction when count is equal to 1, then only you're going to come and get the second value from the user, right? I mean, technically, you're coming and taking a value from the first time there only. Okay, so when count is 1, you're going to get the second value. When count is 2, before the instruction, okay, so before the condition. Before these numbers, when the count is 1, you're going to get the, okay, before the condition. Again, before the condition, if the value of count is 1, now you're going to get the second mark, the second student's marks. Within the repetition structure, you're going to get the second student's marks. So before the condition, before checking your condition, okay, before checking the condition, if the value of count was 98, that means you're going to now go and get the which student's marks. You're deciding, should I go and take the which student's marks? You're making a decision, should I go and take the which student's marks now? When the value of count is 98? Exactly. When the value of count is 98, you're deciding, should I go and take the 99th student's marks? Similarly, when the value of count is 99, before checking the rhombus, I mean, before these rhombus, we're not going to check something. We're not going to check the value of count. And at that position, we're going to check the value of count. If count is 99, now you're deciding, should I go and check? Should I go and take the which mark from the user? And the value of count is 99. Perfect. When the value of count is 99, you're making a decision. Should I go and get the 100th student's marks? So based on that, tell me, when the value of count is 99, should the repetition structure follow? Yes or no? When the value of an account is 99, should we follow the instruction? Should we follow the repetition structure? Yes. Because when the value of count is 99, we are going to get the 100 students marks, right? When the value of count is 99 only, we are going to get the, you can see 100 students marks. When the value of count becomes 100, okay, when the value of count becomes 100, should we go and follow the repetition structure again? When the value of count is 100, when the value of that count variable is 100, should we go and follow the repetition? Should we go and repeat the instruction inside? No. The reason is because if you go and repeat, we are going to get the which students marks. If you're going to repeat again, then you're going to get the which students marks. Exactly. If you go and repeat, you're going to get the 101st students marks. But in this class, have they told that there's 101 students? I mean, in this school, are there 101 students? No. So now what you should do is you have to figure out a condition for the label A that is going to repeat only when the value of count, when the value of count is 1, 2, 3, 4, it has to allow. When the value of count is 99, it has to allow. But when the value of count is 100, it should not allow. Okay. I don't understand why we must follow the repetition structure 99 times. Because now tell me, before you check the condition, when you're in this point, let's say you're in A. When you're in point A, okay, when you're in point A, first, let's imagine now the first time running the program. First time you're running the program, when you're in the point A, what is the value of count? First time you're running this program. Now you're at point A. When you're in this position, what is the value of count? Correct. Count is 1. Now, when the value of count is 1, and you're going to, let's say, check this instruction, check this condition. If this condition gives you yes, you're going to go down, right? If this condition gives you yes, you're going to go down and you will be coming to this B instruction. In B instruction, you're going to get the marks, right? In this, we're not going to get the marks from here. Are you going to get the first student's marks or second student's marks? We're not going to be exactly. You're going to get the second student's marks. Okay. So, which means when checking the condition, when the value of count is 1, you're making the question, you're asking yourself the question, you go and take the second student's marks. Correct? When the value of count is 1 and you're checking the condition here, you're checking basically, should I go and take the second student's marks? Correct? Yes. So when the value of count is 2, let's say now the value of count is 2 and now you're standing here. Okay, value of count is 2 and you're standing here. Then you're making the decision there. Should I go and take the which student's marks? When the value of count is 2, you're making the decision to make. I'm going to go and take which student's marks? Third student mark. Similarly, when the value of count is, let's say, 98, now you're making the decision. Should I go and take the which student's marks? Correct. 99 students mark. When the value of count is 99, now you're making the decision. I have to go and take the which student's marks? You're making the decision. Should I go and take the 100 students marks? Perfect. When the value of count becomes 100, now you're making the decision. I have to go and take which student's marks? When the value of count is 100, you're asking yourself, should I go and take the 101st student's marks? So now tell me, you have to get the third student marks 5, 99 students marks 5, 100 students marks. Should you get the 101st students marks? No. Okay. So in that case, we have to write their condition that will allow when count is 1, it should allow to go. When count is 2, it should give true. When count is 3, it should give true. When count is 4, it should give true. When count is 99, it has to give true. But when count is 100, it has to give false. Okay, because if it gives true, you'll be getting 101 students marks. So therefore, we can write their condition. The condition we can write this, we can go and write there is a value of count less than 100. So only if the value of count is less than 100, it's going to allow that flowchart to follow the repetition structure. Tell me, are you clear now how I figure out what A has to be? Why I wrote this count less than 100. So that when count is 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 98, 99, it will allow. But when count becomes 100, it will not allow. Make sense? Understood now? Okay. Anyone else having any other question? It is it is not complicated, man. Is count equal or greater than 100? Why do you want to check? If it's equal to 100, it's wrong, man. If it's equal to 100, and if you go and check, is count less than or equal to 100? When the value of count is 100, will this condition give you true or false? If you write the condition as is count less than or equal to 100, when the value of count is 100, will this condition give you true or false? Hmm? True. So if it gives you true, when the value of count is 100, you're deciding should I go and take the which student's marks? When the value of count is 100, you're deciding you're going to go and take the which student's marks. So asking yourself the question, should I get the 100 student's mark? That's what I was explaining here. See, you're asking yourself, should I go and take the 100 student's marks? So if it's true, you're going to go and take 100 student's marks. When the value of count is 100, that it should give you false. The condition has to give you false. So that is why what we do there is this. Instead of writing this condition, you write this condition. Does that make sense? Got it? When count 100 is less than 100, it gives the answer, no, right? Then it takes 100 answers. When count 100 is less than 100, gives the answer, no, right? Then it takes 100 answers. When count 100 is less than 100. When the value of count is 100, when you go and check is 100 less than 100, if someone comes and asks you is 100 less than 100, is your answer yes or no? But so 100 students marks are also entered. Yeah, we have to get a total of 100 students marks. First students marks is taken from here. Okay, the first student's marks is taken from here. From the second to 99, from 2 to 9, from second student to 100 students mark is taken from here. So total, within the repetition structure, we are taking 99 students marks. Out of the repetition structure, we are taking one student's marks. And the first student's marks is taken from here. The remaining 2 to 900, from 2 to 100, the remaining people, from 2 to 100, if you count how many numbers are there, there are 99 numbers. The remaining 99 students marks we are getting inside the repetition structure. Got it, Simsa? Okay, come back to Imad's question. Okay, what do you call Imad? When you go and check, is 100 less than 100? Is this condition going to give you true or false? Ibrahim, correct. That's going to give you false. So when it gives you false, okay, you're going to go in the no direction. In the no direction, we're going to display max. See, in no direction, we're displaying max. We're not getting another marks. So when the count becomes 100, you're going to go and display max. You're not going to get the 100 student. Only if it's yes, you will be getting the 101 student marks. If it's no, you're not going to get the 101 student marks. Got it? Perfect. What's the answer? Actually, I'm discussing, man. Poruma, you can't directly jump to the answer like this. If I directly jump to the answer, I can directly give you all the answer, then there is no purpose for the class. I'm here now telling you how should your brain think to find the answer. The purpose of the paper class is not telling you what's the correct answer, what's the wrong answer. I could have given you a marking scheme for that, no? Or you can basically find the marking scheme itself. The purpose of the class is for you to understand, to make sure I teach you how to think. That's the main purpose here. Okay. So I told you how you are to evaluate, how your brain has to work when you're deciding how to find D, how to find B, how to find A. Right. Now let's come for the next one. Can't we put less than or equal to 100? That's what I answered a while ago, man. If you put, okay, let's say you put This is your question, right? Can't we put is count less than? This is your question, right? Okay. Before I answer this question, again look at that. Yeah, now this is the third or fourth time I'm repeating this. I'm pretty sure you're not listening all this time. Okay. Again, tell me, you're getting the first student's marks here. Fine. Leave it aside. Then you go for the third instruction, count equals one. When the value of count is one, you after the value of count is one, here you're coming for the rhombus. In this rhombus, you're making a decision. You're making a decision, and if the decision is yes, you're going to get a marks from this green color highlighted instruction, right? In that green color highlighted instruction, are you going to get the first student's marks or second student's marks? You're deciding should I go and take the first student's marks, or you're deciding should I go and take the second student's marks? First student's marks. Then what did you do here? Then what were you doing in this instruction called input text in the top? Whose marks did you get there? We have already taken the first student's marks. You're deciding here, should I go and take the second student's marks? Is that part clear? Are you clear on that? Okay. So when count is one, you're deciding should I go and take the second student's marks. Similarly, tell me when the value of count is, let's say 40, you're deciding should I go and take which student's marks? No, you're asking yourself the question, should I go and take whose marks? 39. Are you sleeping? This is basically maths proportion, man. When count is one, you're deciding should I go take the second student's marks. When count is 40, you're going to decide I'm going to get the which student's marks. Proportion. In maths, direct proportion. When count is one, you're student's marks. Again, think. When count is one, you're asking yourself the question, should I take the second student's marks? Sorry, there was a network interruption. Sorry. There was a network interruption. Is my voice and all clear now? Am I audible properly? Okay. Coming back to the same question. What do you call? When the count was one, I told you we are going to be asking yourself, should I go and take the second student's marks? No. So based on that, tell me, when a count is two, you're going to ask yourself a question, should I go and take which student's marks? When count is two, and you're standing at that rhombus, you're asking, should I go and take the third student's marks? When count is 40, you're asking yourself, should I go and take which student's marks? 41st student's marks. Perfect. Similarly, when count is 98, you're asking yourself, you're going to take which student's marks? Should I go and take which student's marks? You're asking yourself now. Correct. Should I go and take the 910 students' marks? When count is 99, you're asking yourself, should I go and take which students' marks? You're asking yourself, should I go and take the 100 students' marks? When count is 100, you're asking yourself to take whose marks? Which students' marks? 101. So based on this, tell me, in this rhombus, you ask, yeah, in this rhombus, you're going to make a condition, right? In this rhombus, we are going to make a decision. When you're making that decision, okay, when the value of count is 100, now at that moment you're standing and your value of count is no 100. So when value of count is 100, should that rhombus give you yes? Should the rhombus give you yes or should the rhombus give you no? When the value of count is now 100, should the rhombus give you yes or no? Exactly. It should give you no. Because if it gives you yes, happen. If it gives you yes, what will happen? You're going to get the which student marks? You're going to get the 100 first students marks. But in this school, are there 101 students? No. Now, based on that, tell me when the value of count is 100, and if you write this as the condition, if you write is count less than or equal to 100 as a condition, if the value of count is now 100, will this condition I mentioned here, will this condition give you true or false? Or yes or no, basically? When you go and check is count less than or equal to 100, this is going to give you a true or false, yes or no? And who is your logics teacher, man? The meaning of this count is less than or equal to 100 is, sorry, English teacher. Okay, the meaning of, or else maths teacher. This is job of maths and English teacher, but I'll do it now. Okay. The meaning of this word is count less than or equal to 100 is count less than 100 or is count equal to 100. This is the meaning of that sentence. Okay. When the value of count is now 100, okay, when the value of count is 100, when you go and check, is count less than 100? Yes or no? The value of count is now equal to 100. Huh? When the value of count is now 100, when you go and ask yourself, is count less than 100? What is the answer for this question? Yes or no? No. When you go and ask yourself, is the value of count equal to 100? What is the answer? Yes or no? No. Ade, you have to consult a maths teacher. Huh? Yes, man. Yes, see, the value of count is now 100. Now, okay, using your logic gates knowledge, tell me, when one of the instruction is false, other instruction is true, what will be the overall result? Yes or no? When true or false? If using a logic gates knowledge, tell me, one of the instruction is no, other instruction is yes. Or let me put this into simple perspective. Let's say I'm telling you to come to the class, you have to have a pencil or pen. I'm saying to come for the class, you have a pencil or pen. You don't have a pencil, but you have a pen. Can you come for the class? Yes or no? I'm trying to come for the class. You need a pencil or pen. Can you come for the class? You can. So when you have the word called or, should both the instructions give you true? Should both these condition gives you yes? Is it compulsory for both the instructions to be yes? Out of the two, minimum how many has to be yes? Out of the two, minimum one has to be yes. So now you have two, when you say is count less than or equal to 100, you're going to check is count less than 100 or is count equal to 100. When you check both, this was giving you no and this was giving you yes. So if one of them give you yes, what will be the overall result? Overall result of this condition is yes or no? You have the pen, you don't have the pencil. So come for the class, overall result is what? You have only one true. Exactly. Overall result is yes. Make sense? So when you go and check is count less than or equal to 100, we're checking is count less than or equal. We're checking either one of them, right? So the overall result of this is going to give you true. So if this gives you true, that means what's going to happen? You're going to continue the loop. If you continue the loop, you're going to get the 101 students marks. So that is why this is wrong. Make sense? Understood why this is wrong? Okay, this is wrong because when the value of count is 100, it will allow. But when the value of count is 100, it should not follow the instruction. So therefore, A should be is count less than 100. There is no other answers A can be. Got it? I mean, other answer is count less than or equal to 99. That's possible, but no. Okay. Can you explain B? Because when we input as X, that seems wrong. Okay. It's like this. I'll tell you why. Now, in your I'm going to tell you that I'm going to tell 100 numbers. In your head, I'm going to tell you that I'm going to tell 100 numbers. One fellow is asking, will this question come to O level? Were you sleeping all this time? Am I discussing Western Province paper, O level paper here? Damn, discuss the bloody 2016 oral paper. When were you sleeping all this time? 2016 oral papers, question number 7, Roman number 2. These are bloody oral paper. I don't know what to tell you all, man. You are worse than ChatGPT. Short time will also peak in the year. Coming back to the question. Let's say I tell you that I'm going to give you 100 numbers. Out of the 100 numbers I give you, you're supposed to tell me what is the largest number. I'm telling you, I'm going to give you 100 numbers. Out of the 100 numbers, you're supposed to tell me the largest number. Now, you can't write anything. You can't, what do you call, I'm saying my rule is one. You can't write anything, whatever. You have to do everything in your head. So in that case, let's say I tell my number, first number is 2, second number is 7, third number is 6. Will you keep in all these numbers in your head? Will your head store all the 100 numbers I tell? Imagine a situation. I'm going to tell numbers. Okay, simple. Let's do it for now practically. I'm going to tell you all 5 numbers. Out of the 5 numbers I tell you all, you're going to what you called tell me out of the 5 numbers I tell you, you're going to tell me what is the largest number, and you can't write anything up. I'm going to tell you 5 numbers. Out of these 5 numbers, you're going to tell me the largest number. You can't write anything. Okay, good, understood? Okay, the 5 numbers are going to be 3, 7, 11, 2, 8. What is the largest number? I said 3, 7, 11, 2, 8. I think these are the 5 numbers I told you. I can't remember, but I think these are the 5 numbers. Now, whenever you got a number, how your brain was working? Wait, initially your brain was storing mainly one thing. Your brain was mostly focused on storing what? It gave the highest priority to store what? Which number? Exactly. Your brain gave the highest priority to store the largest number. So in your brain, you were mainly focused on storing which number? The highest number. Now, whenever I gave a number for you, but how did your brain process that? Your brain already had a number stored. That is the largest number. You were asking yourself, the number Sir gave, okay? The number Sir gave. You're going to go and check the number Sir gave, is that number greater than the largest number? Was this a question that was running in your mind? Yes. So initially, when my first number was 3, okay, when the first number I gave you was 3, at that time, okay, when the first number I gave you was 3, the first number I'm going to give you is 3, right? After I told 3 as the first number, and if I ask you up to now what is the largest number I have given you, what will be your answer? Your answer will be 3. Now, second number I'm going to give you a 7. After I give you 7, what are you going to do? You're going to go and see the number Sir gave. What is the number Sir gave? Sir gave number 7. You're going to go and check, is 7 greater than 3? When you go and check is 7 greater than 3, will this condition or will this question give you yes or no? Is 7 greater than 3? Yes or no? One fellow is saying no. I think you have to find a good maths class. If you want, I can give you a good suggestion. You can go and join this dance class. Anyways, let's keep advertisement aside. If you go and check is 7 greater than 3, yes. So if it's yes, what should you do? You update whose value? You update which variable's value? Num or largest? Yes, sir. Exactly. You're going to update the value of largest. And I said, okay, now the largest number is 7. Similarly, okay, exactly, Afsar. Now let's say I'm saying the value of num. The next number I'm giving on is 11. So when the next number I gave you all was 11, is it Shimza? The next number I gave you all was 11. Now what's, again, your mind is going to ask the same question. The number Sir gave, is it greater than the largest number? Currently, largest number is 7. When you ask yourself, is 11 greater than 7? Again, it's yes. So because it was yes, now you're going to be like, okay, now the largest number is 11. Now I'm getting the next number, 2. When I gave the number 2, you're going to go and check, is 2 greater than 11? right? So we're not going to check is 2 greater than 11. This condition is going to give you true or false. I mean, yes or no, basically. Yes or no, true or false. Anything is fine. Exactly. That's going to give you no or false. So if it's giving you no or false, are you going to update the value of this largest number? No. Still the largest number is 11. The next number I gave you is 8. When I give you 8, you're going to go and compare, is 8 greater than what? Is 8 greater than? Exactly. Because the largest number up to now is what? The largest number at the moment is 11. So you're going to go and check, is 8 greater than 11? When you go and check, is 8 greater than 11? Yes or no? No. Exactly. The answer is no. So in this case, when you see, your mind was storing mainly two values. Your mind was dealing with two values. One value your mind was dealing is the number sir gave. The other value your mind was dealing is largest number. Out of these two, storing the largest number is important. So you give high priorities for this value only. Okay. If you notice, initially the value in your mind, you did not store all the five numbers I gave. Initially, if I ask you what was the number sir gave, you will tell 3. Then you will say 7. Then 11. Then 2, 8. Finally, if I came and asked you what was the number sir gave, you will remember only the 8. You will forget all the previous numbers I told you. Just like how your mind works there only, in that program, we have the variable called x. From here, you're going to get the first student's marks in x. So x is going to store the first student's marks. Once I get the second student's marks, I go and mention second student's mark, then third. I don't have to bother about the previous student's marks. Currently, in this program, what's going to happen is the variable value is going to be replaced. It's getting rewritten. Initially, you can see here, that's the same thing happening, right? The value of num variable, it became changed. Initially, the value sir gave was 3. Then after I get the second number, you forgot 3 and now you'll be like, now it's 7. You forgot 7, now it became 11. Just like how your mind is dealing with two values here, num and largest, in that program, we are dealing with x and max. Is that clear? Sorry. Whoever who asked that question, I think it was Kauthar. Shaspadam. Shaspa got it? Okay, perfect. Coming back to the question. So, where is the question, man? Yeah. So, if you look at this, now we have found out A, B, C. Finally, so we have found A, B, and D. Now we are going to go to C. If you look at C, what's happening at C is we are going to go and check, is x greater than max? X is a number entered, max is the highest number. Like, for example, you're going to go and check the number sir gave, is it greater than the largest number? If the number I gave was larger, okay, if that condition was yes, you went and updated the maximum value, right? Similarly, here we're not going to check, is the number entered, x is a number entered, the marks entered. If the marks entered was greater than the currently existing highest marks, if this was a yes, then whose value should you update? You're going to go and check the number entered, the marks entered, is it greater than max? If the marks entered was greater, whose value should you update? Now, again, if I'm going to relate that to this scenario, okay, when the number I gave you, when 11 was the number I gave you, right? When the 11 was greater than the highest marks, what was the highest marks? When I gave you, it was 7. So when the value of I gave you is x, num, when that was greater than the maximum marks, okay, whose value are you going to update now? When the value entered is greater than the existing maximum value, now whose value should you go and update? Exactly. When the value entered was greater, you have to go and update the highest marks, right? You have to be like, okay, all these time highest marks was 7. Now we have got a new highest marks. The new highest marks is 11. So what should happen is here we have to mention an instruction saying we have to go and change the value of highest marks. From now onwards, the highest marks has to be the value we got just now, which is max. So max is equal to x. We are updating the value of max, not x. X is the value you entered. Why should we bother about that? Why should you go and change the value I gave you all, man? You have to go and change the value of max. The value, if I go and give you all, let's say, all this time in your head you had 7. When I give you 11, you have to go and tell, okay, hereafter it's not 7. Hereafter the highest marks is 11. You have to update the value of max. Make sense? Okay, Sarah. I'll again explain, listener. In this condition, what's happening is you're going to go and check, is x greater than max? Which means you're going to go and check the number entered. Okay, we are going to go and check the marks entered, the new marks we got just now. Okay, you're going to go and check the new number we got just now. is it greater than the existing maximum marks? If I'm going to relate this to the example we did a while ago, you're going to go and check the number I gave you. Okay, the number I gave you, you're going to go and check, is that greater than the currently existing maximum marks? So when I gave the number 11, before I gave the number 11, in your head, you had the maximum marks as 7, I think, right? Yeah, before I gave the number 11, in your head, you had the highest marks as 7. So we're not going to go and check the number entered, is it greater than the existing highest marks, right? If this condition gives you yes, now whose value should you go and update? Should you update the value of X or should you update the value of max or something else? Exactly. You'll update the value of max. By all this time max was 7. Now you will be like the number we have got is greater. So now hereafter max is not 7. Hereafter max has to be 11. So you update the value of max. And what is max going to be? Now max is going to be equal to the newly entered number. As per this program, the newly entered marks is stored in X. So you're going to say max is equal to X. Did that make sense, all of you? Got it? So C is going to be is max greater than X. And you update that only if that condition is yes. Why is my laptop stuck? Is max equal to X? So in total, if you like, why is it black? Okay. In total, if you look at this question, what do you call the answer for A is going to be, A is going to have the condition is count less than 100. Another possible answer is count less than or equal to 99. That's also correct. B is going to be input X. C is going to be max equals X. D is going to be display max. These are the answer for the questions. Put 1 mark each and tell me out of 4 marks, how many marks you got. And if you have any questions, drop your questions in the chat. So one of you was asking, why did I keep so much space for this question? I hope now you understand why I kept so much space for this question, so that I can scribble peacefully. I got 0. I'm fed up of this lesson. Nah, this is just the beginning, man. What you're doing here is not just you're improving your programming skills. You're improving how to think. I was now all this time, what I was doing here is I was teaching you how to think, how to handle problems. If you actually are good in programming, I'll seriously tell you, handling problems in life is very easy. You know how to handle a problem. You will not be, you will not be what you call suffocate. You will not be confused. What should I do? Because why? Your brain works like algorithm. Your brain works very, very organized, step by step. Your brain is not scattered. Your brain is okay. This is the problem. This is the solution. I go one by one. What is the marks? One mark each, total 4 marks. So I was asking out of 4 marks, how much marks are. So keep it in mind, programming, it develops how to think, right? It's like kind of maths. You all may ask yourself, doing maths questions. Why should you do this? Why should you do this? Maths also teaches you certain parts of maths teaches you how to think. And to do IT, you have to have good knowledge of maths and English. I mean, basic knowledge. Grades, you have to be a grade 8 pass. If you have failed grade 8 maths and grade 8 English, then this is going to be hard, difficult. Anyways, any questions? I think I answered all of your doubts. If I had missed any of your doubts, let me know. Okay, it's 6 o'clock now, and we are done with this question. We'll be continuing next week with the remaining questions. I hope you understood what I thought. If there's any question, I can stay and ask. Otherwise, if I don't have doubts, I can leave. We're done for the day. Walaikum salam. If you have doubts, drop in the chat. What is it, Lama? Good. How can I join your online class? Drop a WhatsApp message to this number which I have mentioned. 072-217-8161. I'll send you the details. You're welcome. Very colorful. My scribblings are always there, full of colors. I asked before whether how to identify whether it's a while loop or repeater loop. Okay, very easy. If it's based on the condition, okay, if the condition is true, the condition is yes, and you're going to repeat, then it's talking about a while loop. If a condition is false, and only if the condition is false, you're going to repeat. Okay, whenever the condition is no, then only you're going to repeat, let's say. Then it's a repeat until loop. But then again, a program written in the repeat until loop, you can write that same program while loop as well. The program written while loop, you can write the same program repeat loop, the repeat until loop way as well. Like it's not strict. If you give a flowchart, the same flowchart I can write it using while loop. The same flowchart I can write using what you called repeat until loop as well. Both are possible. But if it's a direct conversion, what you can figure out is based on the condition. If the condition is no, you're going to repeat, then it's a repeat until loop. And only if the condition is yes, you're going to repeat, it's a while loop. So based on that, actually tell me, this given program, is it a while loop or repeat until loop? What do you think? Exactly, it's a while loop. Clear? Understood how you can differentiate? Uh, Anyone having any other questions? Good job. Yeah, I did not check WhatsApp much. I need to miss class recording of program lesson. I messaged you previous and didn't get a reply. Shimza. Similar WhatsApp message this number. I didn't still check the other WhatsApp that has lots of. I mean, the issue with that phone actually. That's why I didn't check. This number is everyone checks. And if I don't check, one of my staffs will check this number. So just drop a message to this number and I will reply. Okay, as there's no other questions, I'm going to wind up. And if there's any questions, you can again WhatsApp and get things clarified. Have a nice day. Bye.